Imagine standing in front of a simple cloak. Not silk, not gold, not a priceless masterpiece locked inside a museum. Just a rough piece of fabric woven from cactus fibers, the kind that should have crumbled into dust centuries ago. And yet, nearly 500 years later, it still exists. Millions of people travel from every corner of the world just to stand before it. Scientists have examined it. Historians have debated it. Artists have tried to copy it. Some walked away amazed. Others walked away with even more questions than they had before. Because according to everything we know, this image should not exist. Stay with us until the very end, because what you're about to discover has challenged historians, scientists, and believers for almost 5 centuries. And when this story is over, you'll have to answer one question for yourself. What really happened on that mountain in Mexico? The year was 1531. The Spanish conquest had changed the land forever. Entire civilizations had collapsed. Ancient temples stood abandoned. Fear, uncertainty, and division filled the hearts of millions. The people of Mexico were living between 2 worlds, one disappearing, one still struggling to be born. No one could have imagined that history was about to change through one ordinary man. His name was Juan Diego. He wasn't famous. He wasn't powerful. He wasn't wealthy. He wasn't even someone history expected to remember. He was simply a humble indigenous convert who walked many miles every week to attend Mass. The kind of man most people would never notice. But history has a strange habit of choosing the people nobody expects. Early one cold December morning, before sunrise, Juan Diego began climbing Tepeyac Hill. The air was still. The landscape was quiet. Nothing suggested that this morning would become one of the most talked about days in Christian history. Then, everything changed. He heard music, not ordinary music. It sounded unlike anything he had ever heard. Beautiful, gentle, almost impossible to describe. Then came a voice, calling him by name. Juan looked toward the top of the hill. What he saw would change not only his own life, but the history of an entire continent. Standing before him, surrounded by extraordinary light, was a woman unlike anyone he had ever seen. She spoke with kindness, not as a queen issuing commands, but as a mother speaking to her child. She asked him to carry a message. A church should be built on that very hill, a place where everyone could come seeking comfort, hope, and healing. It sounded simple, almost too simple. There was only one problem. Nobody was going to believe him. Imagine trying to convince the most powerful religious leader in your city that heaven had chosen you, a poor farmer, no education, no influence, no witnesses. What would you do? Juan Diego did exactly what he had been asked. He went to see the bishop. Respectfully, he told the entire story. The bishop listened carefully, but extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. He wasn't convinced. He politely dismissed Juan, asking him to return only if he could provide proof. For most people, that would have been the end of the story. But this story was only beginning, because what happened next is the reason millions of people still climb that hill almost 500 years later. The following days became a test, not only of Juan Diego's courage, but of his faith. He returned to the hill. Again, the mysterious lady appeared. Again, she asked him not to lose hope. Again, she promised that a sign would be given. Juan still didn't know what that sign would be. Neither did the bishop. Neither did anyone living in Mexico. But history was moving quietly toward a moment that would leave generations searching for answers. And remarkably, the greatest mystery wasn't the apparition itself. It was something no one noticed until much later. A simple cloak, made from ordinary cactus fibers. The kind of fabric that should never have survived this long. Why hasn't it disappeared? Why do experts still study it? And why, after nearly 5 centuries, does this ancient image continue to challenge everything we think we know? Because the greatest mystery had not even appeared yet. Juan Diego wanted to obey, but life suddenly became far more complicated. His elderly uncle, Juan Bernardino, became gravely ill. The situation was desperate. Like anyone who has ever watched someone they love suffer, Juan's attention shifted completely. Nothing mattered more than finding a priest before it was too late. At dawn on December 12th, he chose a different path around Tepeyac Hill. not because he had lost faith, but because he felt ashamed. He didn't want to disappoint the mysterious lady by telling her he had another urgent responsibility. Yet before he could avoid the hill, she appeared once again, not with anger, not with disappointment, only with extraordinary compassion. She looked at him and spoke words that have echoed through centuries. "Do not let your heart be troubled. Am I not here, I who am your mother?" Those words have become one of the most beloved promises in Christian history. But that morning, Juan Diego had no idea something even more astonishing was about to happen. The lady instructed him to climb to the very top of the hill. It sounded almost impossible. It was December. The rocky summit was dry and cold. Flowers simply did not bloom there during winter. Yet Juan obeyed. As he reached the top, he stopped. Before him stretched an impossible garden, fresh Castilian roses, perfect, fragrant, covered with morning dew, flowers that did not belong to that mountain, flowers that should not have existed in that season. He carefully gathered them inside his tilma, his simple cloak woven from coarse cactus fiber. The lady arranged the roses with her own hands. Then she smiled. "This will be the sign." She instructed him not to open the cloak until he stood before the bishop. Juan hurried toward the city, carrying what looked like nothing more than a bundle of flowers. No one suspected that history was hidden beneath that humble fabric. When Juan Diego arrived at the bishop's residence, the servants once again tried to turn him away. Hours passed. Eventually he was allowed inside. The bishop looked at him with patient skepticism. Juan slowly untied his tilma. The roses spilled onto the stone floor, but almost no one looked at the flowers, because everyone's eyes were fixed on something else. There, on the inside of the cloak, was an image. Not painted, not sketched, not embroidered. An image of a young woman unlike anything anyone had ever seen. Silence filled the room. The bishop fell to his knees. No one could explain how the image had appeared, and no one could have imagined that nearly 5 centuries later, scientists would still be asking the very same question. If you're enjoying discovering the mysteries, miracles, and extraordinary stories hidden behind the world's most famous shrines, subscribe to the channel and join us every week. There are countless stories that history still cannot fully explain, and this journey is only beginning. The mystery that still draws millions. When researchers enlarged the eyes of the mysterious woman using high-powered digital imaging, they expected to find nothing more than the texture of an ancient image. Instead, some claimed they could distinguish tiny reflections, shapes, human figures, details so incredibly small that they seemed almost impossible. According to several investigators, the reflections appeared to resemble a group of people gathered in front of Juan Diego at the exact moment he unfolded his tilma before the bishop. If true, it would mean the image contained microscopic details that no artist of the 16th century could realistically have painted. Not everyone agrees with these conclusions. Some scientists remain skeptical. Others argue that the findings deserve further study. The debate continues to this day. And perhaps that's part of what makes this story so fascinating, because the tilma has never demanded blind belief. Instead, it continues to invite curiosity, questions, wonder, reflection. The deeper people investigate, the more mysterious it seems to become. But perhaps the greatest miracle of Guadalupe isn't found under a microscope. It's found in the lives of the people who continue climbing Tepeyac Hill every single day. Parents carrying newborn babies wrapped in white blankets. Young couples praying for a family they have dreamed about for years. Grandparents walking slowly with rosaries in their hands. Teenagers searching for hope. People who arrive carrying invisible burdens. Fear, illness, grief, broken relationships, unanswered prayers. They all come for different reasons. Yet many leave saying they experienced the same thing, peace. Not because every problem disappeared overnight, but because they no longer felt alone. That is why millions continue making the journey, not simply to admire an ancient image, but to stand in a place where generations have whispered the same prayers and found the strength to keep going. Today, the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe is one of the most visited Christian pilgrimage sites in the entire world. Every year, millions of pilgrims walk for miles, some even for days, to reach the sanctuary. Many arrive barefoot, Others carry flowers. Some walk in silence. Others sing. Many families bring photographs of loved ones. Some carry babies in their arms. Others return years later with children they once prayed to receive. For countless parents, bringing a newborn before the Black Madonna is not simply a tradition, it is an act of gratitude, a promise fulfilled, a way of saying, "Thank you." Whether someone sees these stories through the eyes of faith or through the lens of history, there is no denying one extraordinary truth. Very few places on Earth continue to inspire this level of hope after nearly 5 centuries. Now, let's return to where everything began. A quiet hill, a frightened mother, a humble man, a simple cloak. No one standing there in December of 1531 could have imagined that this moment would echo across the centuries. They could not have known that millions of strangers, speaking different languages, living on different continents, would one day travel to that same hill searching for comfort, searching for answers, searching for hope. Perhaps that is the real mystery of Guadalupe. Not only how the image appeared, not only why the Tilma still survives, but why one story continues touching hearts generation after generation, long after empires have fallen, long after kingdoms disappeared, long after every eyewitness has become history. So, what really happened on Tepeyac Hill? Was it an extraordinary coincidence, a mystery that science has not yet fully explained? Or was it something beyond anything we can measure? Each person must answer that question for themselves. But one thing is certain. Nearly 500 years later, the story refuses to disappear. It continues to inspire, it continues to comfort, and it continues to invite every new generation to look a little closer. Because sometimes the greatest mysteries are not the ones we solve. They are the ones that quietly transform the way we see the world. If this story moved you, subscribe and become part of our growing community. Every week we uncover astonishing miracles, hidden histories, and extraordinary stories from the world's most sacred places, stories that continue to inspire millions. And now we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever visited the sanctuary of Our Lady of Guadalupe? Or is there another shrine whose story has touched your heart? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story may encourage someone else who reads it. Until next time, keep seeking the stories that remind us that hope can appear where no one expects it.